much of a good thing. Ah. Am I late? And Yoon Young was hardly able to walk due to her shock. In the end, Tae-hyuk had to piggyback her home. Her body was lighter than Tae-hyuk had expected. So he felt uncomfortable. How could this small girl confront Park Sun-kwang? In his memories, and Yoon Young was just a sincere and hardworking model student. Tae-hyuk sighed inwardly. It was less of a return to the past and more of having memories of the future. He could take advantage of those memories. However, that wasn't the end of it. Tae-hyuk learned things he had never known before. Teacher Young Nam-ho helped his students in secret. And Yoon Young was fighting on her own. Until now, Tae-hyuk had been a mere bystander. However, his position had changed now. And he was jumping onto the stage out of his own free will. There was nothing else he could do except to fight. Tae-hyuk looked at his watch. His sister had told him not to go home too late. However, it was already past 10 in the evening. He had sent her a message. But she would worry if he was even later. Tae-hyuk hurried forward. What are they doing? There was a strange shadow on the wall to an alley. The person was wearing clothes that completely exposed the body. It looked like a young woman. Did she forget the keys to her house? Tae-hyuk shook his head. He couldn't afford to worry about others' things right now. His head was full of complicated thoughts just from thinking about Yoon Young. Tae-hyuk ignored the suspicious woman and headed home to where his sister was waiting. Tae-hyuk. Aren't you going home? Classes are over. Young Nam-ho asked Tae-hyuk, who strangely had remained in the classroom. He didn't seem to be sleeping with his eyes open. It had been his routine to run off after lunch without waiting for school to end. Seo Tae-hyuk scratched his head and replied, I have decided to study from today. Young Nam-ho hit Tae-hyuk's head with the attendance sheet. Ouch. Strange. This isn't a dream. Did I eat something bad at lunch today? Tae-hyuk was at a loss for words. Was it that surprising that he had decided to study? Then work hard. I'm going. Yes. See you tomorrow. After teacher Young Nam-ho left, and Yoon Young moved and sat next to Tae-hyuk. Tae-hyuk. Then, let's start studying. Class president. You're not stuttering anymore. Young. Really? And Yoon Young laughed gently. The two people stayed behind because Tae-hyuk had asked for Yoon Young's help with studying. Well, I also want to stop Park Sun-kwang from touching her. The test was 2 days later. Park Sun-kwang realized that he had been deceived and was now burning with hostility toward Tae-hyuk. He didn't do anything during the day due to his reputation. But it should now be time for him to approach. Tae-hyuk studied while waiting for Park Sun-kwang. Well, then I'll check your skills. In order to teach someone, she first needed to know their skills. And Yoon Young made a test paper that mixed simple problems and difficult problems. Tae-hyuk received it and concentrated. I just solved what I knew. How about it? Young. And Yoon Young gave a strange moan as she started to check the problems. Then she spoke in an oddly angry voice. Tae-hyuk. Don't you study? Eek. The problems that require application are a problem. However, the very basic questions are wrong. Normally, this means that you don't study. Then I will try harder from now on. Really? Then, I think I can help. However, you will need to give up on the next test. This is still your second year. If you work hard, you can get good results in the next test. First of all, mathematics. And Yoon Young explained the curriculum to Seo Tae-hyuk. She knew exactly what it took to improve his grades. As expected from class president. Amazing. It's no big deal. And Yoon Young shook her head with embarrassment at Tae-hyuk's praise. She tucked her hair behind her ears and started teaching him in earnest. Tae-hyuk focused on Yoon Young's words. Why was her face slightly flushed? Was the classroom hot? Approximately 30 minutes passed by. All of a sudden, the dim and revealing mirror that he had placed on the desk rang. You have focused on studying. You have been influenced by Yoon Young's studying skill and your stats are rising quickly. Intelligence has increased by 1. Rising stats. It was a message he had never seen before. He wanted to examine it. But he felt sorry towards an Yoon Young who was studying hard. Tae-hyuk stretched and said, "Let's rest for 5 minutes. Young. It has only been 30 minutes, although you have worked hard. Shall we take a break? Then I will go to the bathroom. Young. Please note that it is a big one. I didn't ask." And Yoon Young stood up and stretched. Tae-hyuk took the demon revealing mirror with him and left the classroom. Asterisk asterisk asterisk, is it because I got the spying skill? You can use the opponent's ability and skills to spy on your belongings. In other words, he could see his own stats. Tae-hyuk decided to try it on himself first. Spying has been used. You can see your opponent's belongings and stats along with the message about activating the skill. The abilities of Seo Tae-hyuk popped up. There was also a bag of belongings. But there was no reason to look at it. Seo Tae-hyuk title. God of Crime rating. Commoner lacking conditions for upgrade skills possessed. Robbery LV1 voice modulation LV1 spying LV1 stats. Stamina 64. Intelligence 4. Agility 22. Dexterity 31. You can raise your stats by using affinity points. What is this? F fool. Tae-hyuk clicked his tongue. Compared to his other stats, his intelligence was too low. Moreover, this was after he had just gained 1 point. He had only tempered his body. So his stamina was high. I really have to study harder. It seemed like he had to take care of an Yoon Young from now on. Tae-hyuk thought about the message that had popped up previously. The studying skill. He learned that crime skills weren't the only skills he could get. And Yoon Young didn't seem to have the same abilities as him. Did he have to study hard to get it? This time, he shone the demon revealing mirror on an Yoon Young in the classroom. Then spying was activated. An Yoon Young title. Good model student, the details aren't available due to your low rating. Tae-hyuk's eyes trembled. Does she have a higher rating than me? If he was a commoner. And Yoon Young had to be at least a noble. Come to think of it. And Yoon Young was very good at studying. She was first place in the school and her nationwide rank was quite high. I don't know her exact rating, but maybe it's king. Either way, I have to raise my rating if I want to use the skill properly. And Yoon Young was the owner of the studying skill. It was fortunate that he was getting close to her. He could easily increase his low intelligence stat. Thank you, class president. I will buy you a hamburger later. As Tae-hyuk was sending love calls to an Yoon Young in his mind, someone approached him. HRMM. You're finally out. It was Park Sung-kwang. Wow. Has he been waiting outside until now? How sad. If I look closely, isn't that snow piled up on his shoulders? Tae-hyuk thought with a serious expression. Haha. There is no need to panic. I don't plan to do anything to you. Take a look. I am alone right now. I wasn't scared though. Park Sung-kwang's eyes twitched. However, he spoke with true superhuman patience. At any rate, it is good that you're not making a fuss. I don't know what you've heard. Despite my reputation, you can trust me. So, why don't you receive some money for staying out of things? Staying out, I mean. Stop hanging around class president. Isn't that more comfortable for both of you? It meant to leave in Yoon Young's side. Tae-hyuk lowered his tone like he was worried. Money, I do need it. Those are good words. 50. No. I'll give you 1 million won. Tae-hyuk held up 5 fingers. I need this much. Cough. 5 million. You sure can make a bargain. Yes, I'm in a great mood. So, Tae-hyuk folded his fingers, leaving only his index finger that he shook back and forth. No. 500 million. Class president helped me with things I've been struggling to learn. Shouldn't it be at least this much? 500 million. It wasn't 5 million but 500 million. That was 100 times the money. Puhahaha. Crazy. You are crazy. You'll have to go round and round chasing for that money. Park Sung-kwang laughed. You seem to be mistaken about something. You think you've caught my weakness. This is a problem that I can solve on my own. Without my father's help. Yes. The negotiating is over. Well, I guess so. I will do everything I can to destroy you. From now on. It's war. Seo Tae-hyuk. Park Sun-kwang declared and walked off. Tae-hyuk laughed as he watched Park Sun-kwang leave. Then he muttered in a low voice. This move turned out as nicely as I thought it would. Yeah. It should be like this. Now. Who will be the one destroyed? In fact, Tae-hyuk didn't have any special feelings or hostility towards Park Sun-kwang. He was just an obstacle blocking an Yoon Young from helping Tae-hyuk study. However, the problem was different since he needed to obtain the spying skill. It was an essential skill. In order to perfectly learn it, he had to stab Park Sun-kwang. Well, isn't this class president's revenge? Let's call it the tuition fee. Park Sun-kwang. Sorry. Who told you to give me such a good skill? Anyway, it wasn't the time to return to studying. Park Sun-kwang had moved first. Now, it was his turn. Tae-hyuk apologized to In Yoon Young and made a phone call. Senator's secretary. Park Sung-hwan. The plan to destroy Park Sun-kwang had begun.